In the last episode, we finished grilling iron eggs. Bearden can produce 1.5 million times. Energy vacuum energy harvesting device. If there is no accident, the accident will happen again. Today, this black technology is even more outrageous. Acetone ultrasound equipment for a few dollars at home. You can replicate the inner nuclear fusion of the sun on the desktop. Easily create unlimited clean energy. But this hardcore paper was almost banned by an authoritative journal. Hidden behind the entire energy industry's stunning chain of interests. Ask everyone a trivia first, the nail polish wash on your table. Daily ultrasonic toothbrush can actually achieve nuclear fusion. Doesn't that sound like a fantasy? In traditional thinking, wanting to trigger a nuclear reaction, millions and billions had to be spent to build a tokamak. This is a Shiva laser. Ordinary people can't touch it, but today we're going to talk about acoustic fusion using simple liquids and ultrasound. The desktop can replicate the energy response of the sun's combustion. The two core researchers of this experiment, Iron Egg and Buttface, both work at the Top Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory in the United States. 2002, directly submit the complete experimental data to the world's top journal Science. The title of the paper is Evidence for Nuclear Fusion in Sonic Bubbles. I thought it would directly cause a global sensation. The publication of the results was blocked step by step. All bosses take turns to pressure and intercept. Let me explain to you what sound fusion is. Take apart two keywords, sonoluminescence plus nuclear fusion. Let's compare with two bottles of acetone that are exactly the same and vacuumed. One of the bottles is filled with deuterium atoms to replace the original hydrogen. Ambient constant temperature 0 degrees Celsius. Two ultrasonic generators simultaneously emit super intense sound waves and neutron beams to bombard the liquid. Massive nano-bubbles will form in the liquid. The bubbles expand rapidly and burst instantly. The naked eye can see the explosion point of about 1 millimeter. The moment the bubble breaks, extreme high temperature and high pressure are squeezed inside. It emits a tiny light, which is called sonoluminescence. If deuterium is mixed into the liquid, this element can undergo thermonuclear reactions. The extreme conditions of bubble explosions can directly trigger deuterium-tritium nuclear fusion. The instrument can accurately measure the neutron-helium isotope exclusive to nuclear fusion. Solid evidence of nuclear reactions. The controlled experiment gap is huge, only the acetone room with deuterium added. To detect 2.45 trillion electron volts neutrons. Nuclear fusion products such as tritium helium-3, ordinary acetone without deuterium has no reaction. Just turn off the ultrasound. Change the temperature to dissolve deuterium. The nuclear reaction simply disappears. Complete elimination of experimental error interference. It stands to reason that this is the experiment that upended the energy industry. Journals should rush to publish, but the whole publishing process is undercurrent. Pressure from various high-level bosses. The then editor-in-chief of Science magazine, Hiwa, he is recognized in the circle as a person of integrity and backbone. But the senior management of Oak Ridge Laboratory was the first to come to the door. Keep asking for paper postponements. All kinds of picky negation complete experimental scheme. Then a group of academic bosses collectively wrote a complaint letter to Pressure. Princeton's Dick. In his early years, he also served as the head of the U.S. Department of Energy. The concerns of the Dick hair are particularly realistic, and the cold fusion rolled over back then. The whole network mocks the scientific community. Once this acoustic fusion is made public, it cannot be reproduced. The physics community will become a laughing stock. The nightly newscaster also writes poems poking fun at energy research. Experts from the American Physical Society also jumped out in advance to object. Before seeing the full paper, the one-bite experiment does not hold. What's even more outrageous is that the journal operation completely violates the rules of the industry. Normal papers are peer-reviewed first. To get the manuscript ready for publication, the editor was forced to insert critical comments from multiple groups of scientists halfway through. The author should also modify the original text separately to specifically respond to questions. The process is a mess. The media also released the original words of the Black Baby. Oak Ridge puts pressure on me every day. Either postpone or not send it directly. I'm tired of this kind of gratuitous interference. Authors have no right to publish papers normally. And here's where the truth lies beneath the glossy shell of science. Textbooks always tell us that science is free and open. Just look at experimental data fair peer review. But the reality is quite the opposite. The current nature of scientific research is an appendage of capital and the state. Massive experimental equipment. The salaries of scientific researchers depend entirely on government grants from large enterprises. If you take the money, you have to follow the rules of the investor. Slowly raise a group that dare not question mainstream theories. A docile scientist who just wants to be promoted safely. Those who really dare to break through the existing system are limited everywhere. Once your research touches the existing large industrial chain cake. Various means of suppression, disqualification from participating in the conference. Journal rejection, lab breached. Equipment confiscation. Radical researchers are even threatened. Lost my job, all my books were banned. History has long cycled Bruno, who insisted on heliocentric theory. Pay the price directly with your life for subverting dogma. Now the entire thermonuclear fusion industry, relying on the state's huge funding for decades. Early formation of solid interest groups, supporting equipment supplier laboratory. All political resources are bound. If acoustic fusion were to become commonplace, low-cost tabletop fusion. Without the need for sky-high priced giant equipment, seawater can extract deuterium fuel indefinitely. Traditional tens of billions of thermonuclear projects. The oil and power industry will directly face a crisis of extinction. Everyone in the entire interest chain will face bankruptcy and unemployment. This is the underlying logic of trying to intercept the paper. The official excuse for suppression. High-sounding, experimental equipment repeatedly adjusted. It creates human error. Deuterium raw material has impurities. The experiment cannot be reproduced stably. But anyone with a discerning eye knows that compared to the experimental error, capital's fear of the impact of new technologies is the core contradiction. Even if the paper is difficult to publish, academia is still divided. In two camps, some scientists believe that the experimental data is true and reliable, worth repeated verification. The other part of the bite is not supported by evidence, crazily picking details and loopholes, making the discussion extremely complicated. A real scientific breakthrough should have been a paper published. Experiments are independently replicated in laboratories around the world. Either corroborate or disprove, relying on objective data to distinguish right from wrong. But now a lot of human interference is mixed in. Deliberate tampering with experimental equipment, modifying environmental conditions to falsify negative experimental results, malicious slander, just to deny subversive discoveries. In particular, these kinds of studies that can reshape the energy landscape. The business competition game behind it will only get dirtier. Iron Egg himself is very optimistic. As long as the standardized experimental process, countless laboratories around the world have successfully reproduced this set of acoustic fusion. The mainstream scientific community will have to accept this technology sooner or later. He anticipates commercial equipment landing within 2 years. All cars have built-in small acoustic fusion power generation modules. collaborating with the dissemination of niche scientific research journals on the internet. The opposition of the authorities will get weaker and weaker. But industry experts have also poured cold water on the current crackdown. We want to use acoustic fusion to generate electricity for civilian use at a very long distance. Today, we dismantled and achieved tabletop nuclear fusion. But the acoustic fusion experiment was blocked by multiple forces. The next episode digs deep. Cold fusion and acoustic fusion are suppressed one after another. Two sets of unlimited clean energy technologies. Who is the capital behind the unification? Why all the technologies that can get rid of fossil fuels will be completely banned at the same time. Like and follow, don't get lost. The next issue will continue to uncover the hidden energy shady. See you soon.